Good evening, everyone. Convening the Riverhead Industrial Development Agency meeting for July 19th, 2021. I'd just like to point out that we are no longer Zooming these meetings due to the complete repeal and rescission of the local emergency under the state guidance for COVID. We will now revert to having no Zoom. It'll be live streamed, and you'll be able to review the meeting as well on the town's website. I think that's channel 22. I think the first order of business tonight is to consider our proposed agenda.
You're calling the meeting to order?
I have called the meeting to order, yes.
5:03.
I did not, I guess, essentially say so, but yes, I did. And I'd like to have the agenda for consideration. Any comments from the board on the agenda?
No, I'll make a motion to approve. I'll second.
All approved then?
All approved.
Okay, the agenda is approved. The minutes for the month of May, has everyone reviewed the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So approved. I think the next item on our meeting tonight is a presentation from HK Ventures. Tracy, would you invite them up?
Yes. Nick Tuzzuli from Standard Advisors, as a consulting firm for HK Ventures, will introduce his representatives here to make their request for assistance. It's the initial brief presentation, although we've met quite some time ago. Nick?
Thanks. Good afternoon, Tracy and members of the Riverhead IDA Board. My name is Nicholas Turzulli, and I'm a consultant and an attorney at Standard Advisors Group. Thank you for the opportunity to present our draft application this afternoon. We first spoke to Tracy about this project in March and submitted a formal letter to the agency expressing our need for financial assistance on April 7th, 2021. I represent the applicant, HK Ventures, also known as Calverton Industrial, in its application to the Riverhead IDA for financial assistance to develop a currently vacant, approximately 30-acre parcel located at 4285 Middle Country Road in Calverton. And our goal is to develop this property into a state-of-the-art 8-building industrial park aggregating 412,629 square feet of industrial and commercial space. The principal behind this proposed development project is Eric Kislin, an experienced real estate developer. I am joined here today by Scott Johns, a manager for the applicant.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Thank you for taking the time this evening to hear from us. Just for a little background on HK Ventures. HK Ventures was a company formed for the purposes of pursuing the entitlement and the eventual development of the Calverton Industrial Park. HK is part of a larger family office that has specialized in real estate development for the better part of the last 30 years. Our team has considerable experience in real estate development, ranging from commercial development with the Chelsea markets in Manhattan, other shopping centers throughout the U.S., hospitality development including the Gansevoort Hotel, both here in New York and Miami and the Caribbean. Our most recent industrial project was the entitlement of a property near JFK that was subsequently sold and is currently being developed as a 200,000 square foot warehouse. The development of the Calverton industrial property we see as a tremendous opportunity to provide a much needed service for Calverton. Specifically, the area is lacking a facility for small and medium businesses in the light industrial space. And this development, we believe, will lend itself to the current growth and beautification of Riverhead, and that is currently underway with everything else that's going on.
In connection with our application for economic benefits for the proposed industrial park, the applicant has made certain revisions to the proposed project in response to comments received from different town board members, including downsizing the size of the project. The vacant project site currently contributes $23,552 in annual real property taxes and generates no additional income to the local community. The expectation is that the annual rent roll from the proposed project upon full occupancy will be approximately $4,126,000 per month. Accordingly, this project will generate significant economic impact for the town of Riverhead. We have commissioned an economic impact consulting group to provide this agency with an in-depth report on the expected economic impact of the project. That report will be forthcoming as this project moves through the process. The financial assistance from this agency is an absolute inducement for the $66 million capital investment that HK Ventures is going to make, and the necessity for this project to be developed and for its ongoing success. The proposed project will provide opportunities for existing Riverhead small businesses to expand into new markets located in western Suffolk County, Nassau County, and New York City. The project will be the only one in eastern Suffolk County with 30-foot ceiling heights, which is really important for commercial industrial users. Market reports submitted in connection with the draft environmental impact statement, and which will be submitted as an attachment to the final IDA application, conclude that there is significant demand for this project. The project, additionally, is in a great location. It's close to the LIE, close to bus routes that connect workforce housing, and is located within an opportunity zone. The applicant anticipates leasing out this space to local and regional tenants, many of whom have already expressed interest in this development. The applicant anticipates leasing spaces in the 10, 20, and 30,000 square foot tranches. These aren't going to be large operators coming in, taking over an entire building and the entire park. However, as the project represents a large and complicated industrial project in a post-COVID financial landscape, there still remains considerable risk to debt and equity investors. The assistance of this agency will help ameliorate that risk, allowing the project to be financeable, developable, and sustainable. The project will also generate significant increased real property taxes to the town from this project, even with a negotiated pilot. The estimated real estate taxes of this project upon completion without a pilot is approximately $1.3 million annually, which is considerably more than the $23,000 the property currently pays. The estimated project cost is $66 million and will create approximately 150 construction job years over a 3-year construction period and at least 200 full-time equivalent employees during the operational phase of this project. This significant investment, in light of COVID-related market uncertainties, represents a tremendous investment and commitment to the town of Riverhead. As I mentioned earlier, the project is located within one of the town's opportunity zones. As we know, opportunity zones were specifically earmarked for economic development assistance. The applicant will structure a financing plan that will enable the entity to utilize these terrific federal tax incentives. So we come here today really to ask this agency to allow us to formally apply. It is certainly an absolute inducement. This project cannot go forward without the assistance of this agency. As you know, we're working on a parallel track with the town in its land use approval process. But Tracy and I have had conversations about this project for months, and we felt now is the right time to go before the board and ask for your permission to apply formally. We really appreciate your time and are happy to answer any questions you may have.
What was your address again?
It's 48.
Is it 4825?
Yes, sorry, 4285 Middle Country Road.
Yeah.
In Calverton.
All right,
4285 or
Because it
4825
was 4825 on your brief.
in the letter?
And this is 42.
Oh, we got both in the letter.
I'm sorry,
42 is the proper.
Okay.
42.
It's okay.
Thank you.
So where does the process sit with the town?
Scott, you want to jump in?
Yeah.
Currently, we're in the process of SECRA. We've submitted our first draft, and it's gone through the public comment period, and we're meeting with the planning board on August 5th to take any comments and make any necessary changes.
All right. And they've already met with the town board, Tim? They already met with the town board?
I believe early on.
Yes, with the
Oh,
planning board.
some time ago, you mean?
Yes,
Planning
yes,
board.
yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we've been,
Planning board they met with, but I did
Yeah.
a pre-submission, I think,
yes.
with planning, with
Okay,
board member there.
all right.
I have a question. So it is in the opportunity zone, and I'm going to direct this maybe a little bit to you, Dick, as well, and you. The governor has stated he wanted to opt out, New York to opt out of the Opportunity Zone. You know, it's just the state portion of that. Are you aware of that? Anybody aware of that?
So my understanding is some states across the country were enhancing the federal opportunity zone by also including their tax, some sort of tax incentive with, on the state level.
Okay,
And New York, I believe, has now opted out of that
okay,
additional enhancement.
okay.
So that doesn't change.
That
That does not.
doesn't
good.
impact, we're still gonna move forward with the project.
That only makes our need
That's-
more.
So you have 8 buildings that are they're like 52,600 square feet, right?
Correct.
And then you're gonna break those up into 10, and some of them 20 and 30?
So if we had the plan here, I could show you. The buildings on the right side, which I believe is the east side of the property, will be divided into 5,000 square foot bays. Each bay will have its own drive-in garage door. The buildings on the opposite side will be divided into 10,000 square foot bays with a loading dock.
This is going to be phased.
Correct.
Yes.
2 phases, 4 buildings per phase.
I ask that because I'm familiar with the demand on smaller industrial spaces.
Yeah, and that's really
That's
what this project is trying to solve.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, our intention is to build it so that the spaces can be combined as necessary and to provide indoor parking where needed.
And it will, you know, there was hesitancy to begin our process, but I encourage them to start with us now because it'll be quite some time before this project actually comes before a public hearing, perhaps, depending on site plan approval, correct?
Yes.
So in doing economic impact statements and stuff, you know, things are going to change. Even the capital investment may change between now and the time we formalize everything.
Yeah, so we submitted a real preliminary draft to
Correct.
Tracy last week, subject to, modifications along the way.
Okay.
What would be your estimate of the time to get to a point? 4 years, 5 years?
No. I would say within 2 years, they're going to be.
Okay.
Oh, it's our hope that by next year,
Yeah.
we can close
Yeah,
on
mine
the
too.
acquisition and with the IDA.
Yes.
That would be mine too.
Right. Any further questions to the board? No, thank you very much, John.
Thanks so much for driving all the way out.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Yeah,
you
very
taking
much.
your time this evening.
Good luck.
You did.
So just to tie a ribbon on this, there's no resolution, but we have permission now to move forward with this agency,
Well,
subject to,
discuss,
great.
yeah,
Okay, got it, thanks so much.
thank you.
The need is there, like, it's sensational.
Yeah, when they came in, it was,
It's sensational, I know that.
we discussed what the needs were in our community, and
It's just all throughout Brookhaven and Riverhead.
actually for sale would be really great, but we'll take leasing.
Right. Shall we move on to the next item on the agenda? That would be correspondence, Tracy.
Yes, I had sent everyone, the board, a lot of the new legislation that had been adopted up in Albany, list of it, but one piece of legislation that passed both the Assembly and the House, which was concerning, it has not been signed by the governor, so this letter is an effort to request that he veto the bill, and that is, they want the local IDAs to be consistent with the county IDAs in their fee structure. And that does not work for us for numerous reasons. The volume of projects that we do, the fact that we collect pilot payments, many agencies don't, the fact that we assess the late fees automatically for the for the taxing jurisdictions, et cetera, et cetera. And some of the fee structure and the fee structure that we have has been crafted for the survival of the agency, while also keeping in mind the affordability for our clients, because we're here to help the businesses, and that's where our rates are set. So this letter is to the governor. I did run it by our colleagues. as a courtesy, to make sure that everybody was on the same page. We've opened up dialogue, we've shared our fee structures. The Suffolk County IDAs are on board with this, so it has a date of June, but we're gonna send this out this week, if there's, if it's okay with the board.
So I have a question on that. So are the other IDAs contacting their local legislators? I mean, is there a move to?
There's always communication, when, you know, our greatest asset is being members of the New York State Economic Development
Okay,
Council.
that's my next one.
And they keep us in, up to date with all the proposed legislation. This one really got snuck in. They didn't think it was gonna be on the table, and it was. So, yes, they're all, they actually lobby their locals far more than we do, just for lack of resources. We do reach out. I did reach out to our representatives when some of the legislation came down.
Are there
But this,
any,
unfortunately, I found out after it was adopted by both houses.
are there any glaring discrepancies between us and the county?
Yes, significant.
But I mean,
As far as the,
in terms of the core fees and that.
So our application fees, which we changed just recently, are fairly competitive. They're actually, I think, the same as the county, town of Brookhaven at this point. They're the same, but our operational fees are different and more numerous.
So potentially, under this legislation, we could be losing certain categories of fees.
Yes, yeah.
I think one thing that Tracy highlighted is that throughout the state, IDAs handle the collection of pilot payments differently.
Yeah.
And it's been the tradition of this agency to bill the payment, and collect the payment, and distribute the payment. Many agencies leave it completely up to the separate taxing jurisdictions to send their own bills, which creates just complete confusion. So the taxpayer, the project gets a bill from the town, they get a bill from the county, a bill from the school, and any of the other jurisdictions that are abated. In Riverhead, it's all clear what's owed. If it's not paid, it's clear what's not been paid. And we then have a fee structure to collect that. So an agency that isn't collecting the fee doesn't have any fee structure to collect a fee. You know, it's in arrears. So it
So they
really
wouldn't
is a
even have
completely
it.
misguided, it's sort of like saying that, you know, all shoes would be priced similarly when some shoe stores are selling them from a warehouse and some are actually fitting and customly providing the fit of the shoe to the customer. I mean, it's just, it's nonsensical. I don't know.
What's the IDA community feedback on this so far?
Consistent with ours.
Okay.
Have you spoken to Suffolk County IDA?
Mhm.
And are they okay with this?
Yes, yes. They said it was well-written, well-drafted. They didn't have any objection to it. And they asked for our fee schedule, which I had sent anyway, just say, you know, here's our fee structure so you can,
I'm surprised it's unique to us and why others haven't picked up on this for their own economic well-being.
I believe, you mean other agencies?
Yeah.
I believe they have.
Okay.
Yeah, because New York State Economic Development Council sent out a notice to all of us. I'm just, they said, you know, write your own letters, which, you know, do your own lobbying in addition to what they do.
So what would be the timeline on this, do we think?
Usually, there's a certain period of time the governor has
Right.
to sign.
And if he doesn't, does it become automatic? If he's got to veto it in a certain time
But-
frame.
Would it be fair to say that there must be is there a defined legislative date, Dick?
Do we
Yeah,
have the
I can-
legislation?
There must be, right?
Do you have the actual legislation?
Find that out. No, I don't have it with me.
Only because I think if that were the case, we probably need to do a bit of a sensitivity analysis.
Get
Huh?
the,
Well, in the sense that if we do anticipate losing fees,
Oh,
we
oh.
probably need to do a sensitivity analysis to which fees we'd be losing and what that would do to our budget.
what, yeah, the effective date.
I had,
Okay.
what the heck did
Maybe
I-
refer it to the governance committee for review and report.
Okay, we can do it that way too, that's not a problem.
I had more stuff here. Hold on.
So if the governor doesn't sign it and the date expires, it's automatically signed?
I think that's the way it works, right?
That's amazing to me. That gives him a lot of cover, doesn't it?
I don't know. I had the legislation and the
We
other
don't-
legislation
We don't
in
have to
case,
belabor the point
in
right
case
now.
you ask.
It's okay.
but I don't know where it went. Too many files.
I'm sure we'll hear more about this from other
I
IDAs.
think I emailed, I think you asked that question by email and I sent
I
it.
think I had that legislation, I just never calculated, I never computed the date, so to speak.
Well, not just that, I think you asked specifically the timeline and I responded. So I'll just resend that email.
Okay. All right. Duly noted. That brings us
Where my
to
stuff goes.
the treasurer's report, I believe,
Yes.
for May and June.
Yes.
Shall we dispense with May and just focus on June?
I would.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you.
Let's see.
Maybe I put it up on your desk by
Uh,
accident.
Cash in the checking account. Balance in People's United Bank checking account as of June 30th, 2021 was $79,195.88. The investment balance at June 30th, 2021 was as follows: $45,583.53. Municipal money market account bearing interest with an annual rate of 0.15%. Revenues for the month of June 2021 were as follows: cash basis, $3,257.83. On an accrual basis, $24,998.37. Includes interest of $33.37, PPP loan forgiveness in the amount of $24,965.
Okay.
That's good. Love that. Expenses paid for the month of June 2021 were as follows: cash basis, $12,911.92. On accrual basis, $15,993.65.
Okay, thank you very much, Bob. That covers the treasurer's report for today.
Motion,
Yes, may I have a motion to accept the
I'll make a
treasurer's
motion to
report?
accept.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I just have correspondence from the CFO.
Okay,
That you had requested cash basis with
yes.
accrual basis.
that's correct.
I just want to make you aware that on the accrual method of accounting, as you're aware, the agency is on accrual method of accounting and uses QuickBooks. QuickBooks can produce cash basis financial reports. However, it has limitations that can cause the cash basis report to show incorrect information. The cash basis financial statements compared to the accrual basis financial statements is not a standard report and is prepared manually by exporting and manipulating data. It is not an impossible task, but you should be aware that it costs the agency more money for additional time spent to prepare and reconcile this report. The amount of time necessary to prepare this report will vary depending on the amount of monthly activity for the agency. Last month, it took approximately an hour to prepare the report. So, my suggestion to the board is perhaps the cash accrual method quarterly, or if it's necessary, or when necessary, just to reduce that expense. But it's up to the board. I just wanted to make you aware.
Okay. So my question is, even if it's quarterly, it's hard for me to believe it would still be an hour time frame. So-
Well, it would probably, well, she did it for the month.
Exactly. So if you do it for the quarter, okay, so I'm wondering, you've got to go through that much more data for the quarter.
Well, no, I'm saying it's a monthly snapshot.
You're saying do 1 month
Right,
every
1
3
month
months,
every-
not do a
correct.
quarterly report, which is the point. You thought she was
okay,
saying do
right.
a quarterly,
Right.
a
Gotcha.
quarterly report, and she's saying give you a snapshot every 4 months, 3
For me,
months.
if we balance out at the end of the year, have we ever had any discrepancies at the end of the year with anything?
No, no. But it was your
Okay.
request, so
Well,
I just wanted
yeah,
to make,
all I'm trying to do is get us to a position where we have a solid projected cash flow,
Mhm.
so that we can address our budgetary issues in advance. That's really all I'm trying to get to. I'll take a look at the numbers in the report right now and see whether we can't sort of develop some sort of over-the-thumb reconciliation. Okay,
yeah,
fine,
no worries, I just,
good. Any other comments? All right. Then I suggest we move on to committee reports.
Lori could not make it this evening, so as chairwoman of the governance committee, she requested that I make the report. The committee met on July 7th, and given the revitalization efforts targeting downtown and the need for housing, the committee engaged in a discussion as to whether the goals of the agency were consistent with the town. The committee was briefed on the Long Island Workforce Housing Act and that it does not impact the agency. It was determined that the agency always, as always, is focused on supporting the vision of the town leaders and its development plans. The agency also has a uniform project criteria policy to use as a guide for determination as well. It was noted that the community and the agency has done a good job of supporting and making affordable and workforce housing available to the community already. It was the sense of the committee that the agency turn its focus on market rate housing to be in alignment with the current administration's vision, as well as the recent TOD, RFQ, and zoning. With the different federal and state program requirements, the length of assistance supported by the agency should be considered on a case-by-case basis. The committee then discussed whether or not to enroll in the New York State Deferred Compensation Plan for the benefit of its employees. It was decided that it was a good program with no financial obligation to the agency other than minor clerical effort by the CFO when doing payroll. It was the determination of the committee to recommend that the board authorize enrollment, and that resolution is proposed bound in new business. The committee discussed compliance issues with one of the projects, Miramax, and it was determined that the agency memorialize the outstanding items in written correspondence, advising the company that the tenant is not currently authorized by the agency, and a review of their status will be discussed during this meeting. The correspondence was included in your packet this evening. I have not received all the outstanding items. That completes the report.
Okay, thank you very much. Do we need a motion to accept that report? Or
No.
not really, right? It's
Okay.
You can.
You can if you want. Motion to accept the report? Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. That moves on to old business, of which there is none. When did you wish to take up Miramax?
It's up to you, Chairman.
Well, we could do it right now, I suppose.
Okay.
You want to explain where we are with Miramax then?
So I received the, not even in this letter, the signed tenant agreement with both parties signed, and I received the signed resolution. The outstanding items are the use and health permits, the application to the New York State Liquor Authority, a copy of an amended or updated lease, and certificate of insurance identifying the Riverhead IDA as additionally insured.
Okay.
There's still no clarity on who the actual owners of the entity are. So these items are still outstanding.
And we've given them a deadline of this coming Friday then?
They had a deadline of July 23rd, yes.
Okay. All right.
Have they expressed that they're gonna meet the deadline, or is there communication?
I was told I would have it last week.
Okay. So at the moment, then, the best we can do is wait until the
Correct.
deadline that we've given them. All right.
See what happens at the, and on
On
the
Friday.
August agenda. Yeah.
Okay, with that, we turn to new business, which I think in this case is the consideration of the New York State Deferred Compensation Plan, for which we have a resolution, Tracy?
Correct.
Okay.
So for those not in the committee, the purpose of the plan is to encourage employees to make and continue careers with the state and other public employers by providing them a convenient way to save save on regular and long-term basis, providing for a retirement. It is no financial obligation to the agency. It's minor clerical work when we're doing payroll. And it was the recommendation of the governance committee to enroll. I did forward to the board the enrollment application and the recommended resolutions to be adopted.
Does this go with this?
Yes.
I don't understand.
Oh, no. Sorry.
Because I was reading this and I'm going, okay, so this is, I thought something was.
The certification should not be island, but there is a certification on that resolution. Is there nothing on the back?
Yes, on page 2,
Okay.
right?
That's
So
what,
page 3 can just
Sorry.
be
It's
removed,
okay.
is that all right? I think, okay.
Page 3 was a copy and paste error.
Good catch, Bob. Okay. Any discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 31-21.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. That takes care of that resolution there, Tracy. That takes care of that resolution?
Yes.
Send those bucks in now, Tracy.
I'm sorry?
Keep sending that money in.
Yeah.
So, that's right.
Check keeps getting smaller and smaller.
Now, for this,
It'll pay off at the end.
Yes.
for the, by the way, I just want to turn back to the Treasury report for a moment. We went through the report, but there was a note here that there would be a resolution to accept the report of expenses and authorize payment of bills. Is that?
You
correct?
did it. Anthony first, Anthony motion and Bob Kern seconded.
Ah, okay, that was, all right, fine. I didn't make reference to the motion.
That
Okay.
accepts the treasurer's report. And
All right. Then executive session.
now you'd like to recess this meeting?
I think so. I'd like a motion to recess this meeting for purposes of
I'll
the
make-
executive session.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That was Bob Kern and Anthony Barisi?
Yes.
Okay.
For the purpose of personnel.
Yes.